And welcome to Mindful Movement with AARP Alabama. I'm your host, Margie Curry, and today's session is with our certified yoga instructor, Becca Impello. Becca has been practicing and teaching yoga for more than 20 years. Now, don't forget, everyone, we want to remind you that AARP empowers people to choose how they live as they age. AARP is a nonpartisan 501c4 organization that has over 420,000 members in Alabama. AARP's role is to advocate for those 50 plus and their families. AARP Alabama is committed to offering opportunities for people to stay engaged from your home. The Mindful Movement series provides an opportunity for you to keep moving in the safety of your home. Becca.
Good morning. Good morning, Margie.
Hey, good morning, Becca. What do you
How you
have
doing?
for us today? I'm doing great. How about you?
I'm doing well too. Hanging in there with the start of school and the transition and all of that.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, today, Margie, I thought we'd do a good all-around practice, and we're going to emphasize those sun salutations. We've done them before. The sun
Mhm.
salutation sequence is a pretty familiar one in the yoga world, and it's really one that can be adapted easily. So I'm going to be giving you choices to do it with your chair or choices to do it all the way down to the floor, depending on what works best for you.
Okay. All right. That sounds great. Sounds great. And everyone, please remember that before you begin any program, routine, exercise routine, you should consult with your physician to be sure it's safe for you to participate. Okay, Becca, let's get started.
All right, sounds good. So it is a good idea to have, if you're using a chair, you want a sturdy, firm, straight back chair, not your lazy boy, not on the couch, although I'm in favor of you doing something over doing nothing. And so if that's where you need to be, certainly participate as you can. But it's nice to have like a kitchen or a dining room style chair or a folding chair like what I've got. And like I said, today specifically, I'm going to be giving you some choices about using the chair for our sun salutation or doing your sun salutation all the way to the floor. Now that involves getting down and getting back up several times. So you just need to decide if that makes the most sense for you and in your situation, your environment. But we will start seated, and you can sit in a chair or you could be sitting on the floor. So if you're not using a chair today, maybe you're taking a seat on the ground and sitting with your legs crossed or kneeling or whatever is a comfortable seat for you down there. All right, we're going to start with a little bit of breathing and a little bit of warm up for the body, and then we'll get up standing and we'll do our sun salutations. Okay, so let's start with a nice breath work that just helps us bring awareness to our breathing and our body and how it moves with the breath. So I want you to place one hand on your abdomen, right on your belly, and place the other hand up on your breastbone. So just right there near the collarbones and the base of your throat. All right. And you can close your eyes if you'd like. That's optional. We're just going to start to see if you can find the rhythm of your own breath. And you're just looking to see if you can feel and notice the movement of your inhale and your exhale, maybe in that hand that's on your chest, or maybe on and under that hand that's on your belly, or maybe you can feel it in both places. Okay, so there's going to be differences all among us, and that's perfectly normal. So just start slowing down, taking a slightly deeper breath in and out. And we want to let both areas, if possible, do a little bit of moving or expanding. Okay, so don't hold your belly in tight. Let it be soft and relaxed. A little pooch there in your belly is just fine. All right, the belly will tend to just expand outward, kind of filling up almost like a balloon. The chest area will tend to do a little bit more of a rise and fall, sort of going up towards the head and then sinking or dropping back down. All right, so just see what you can notice as you try to deepen your inhalation. Feel the body move. Exhale completely. Feel the body move. Pausing like this and bringing our awareness into our breath before we begin our movement sequence is part of what makes this a mindful practice. Trying to bring our awareness, our mindfulness into ourselves, into our body and into our breath. That'll help us tap into other things as well, like our energy level, our thoughts, our feelings. Let's take 3 more breaths here. Breathe into that hand on the belly, into that hand on the chest. All right. Now you can let those arms drop down to your sides and open your eyes. Let's warm up a little bit by rolling those shoulders. Bring them forward and up towards your ears, and then draw them back and down towards your waist. Let's do some breathing with this too. Inhale and shrug up. Exhale. Bring it down. You might even let that exhale be a sigh out of the mouth. All right, now let's warm up the shoulders a little bit more. Let's start to make some circles with the arms. All right, now you're going to make your movements always within what makes sense for your body. You don't want it to be painful, okay? And maybe sometimes it's not painful, but you just can't make it go a certain distance, okay? But you're just going to see if you can make the movement that you can make slowly with control. So maybe a bent elbow circle is going to feel better, or maybe a straight arm circle. Your straight arm circle can be hands coming pretty close together over the head, or it could be exactly the opposite. Your arms staying nice and wide and out to the side. Let's do 3 more circles of those arms. One more. Good. Arms down at your sides. Circle out the wrists. Get a lot of pops and creaks typically when we circle the wrists and the ankles. So it's okay. Let all those pops and creaks get out. Switch direction if you haven't already. All right. And then just let those hands rest in your lap. Try to sit up tall right into that chest. And let's loosen up the neck, turning the head right and left. Now let's turn this into a neck roll or a neck circle. So bring the chin over to one shoulder and then let it drop down. And then start to slowly bring it across the chest in front. All the way to that other shoulder. And then you can take it a little bit up as you bring it across the front again, but up higher. And then make that circle again. Chin down at the shoulder, across the chest. And up and over. Gentle here, no pain in the back of the neck. And now let's see if we can reverse direction. Pause at the shoulder and then bring it back up over the top, down to the other shoulder and across the chest. Give it one more circle. And bring that head back to center. All right, let's start to loosen up some more of the middle and lower body. Hands together in front of the heart. And if you want to work a little harder, or just work a little more through your belly and your core muscles, really press those hands together firmly and tighten up your arm muscles, okay? It's okay to also do this more lightly. And then we're going to twist side to side. Inhale to the center. Exhale as you turn. Inhale to the center. Exhale as you turn. Good. Loosening up that rib cage area down into the waist as well. Good. One more. back to center. All right, now we'll loosen up more here at the hip. So right at the tops of your thighs, right up where that fold is, where you're sitting, we're going to just see if we can fold, bend a little further forward, and then come back up. So our spine is straight and folding forward, hinging at the hips, and then coming back up. Now you've got an option here. You might decide this is enough for you and your low back and you want to stay right here. You may feel like it would feel good to go ahead and drop a little lower, letting your hands slide down your shins any amounts, and then sort of rolling it back up. So straight spine to start for everyone. And if you feel like going forward over the legs feels like a good stretch to your back, you can take it there and then come back up. Let's do 3 more. Maybe stopping right there like I'm showing now. Or remember, maybe going forward. I like to give you choices because we're all different, right? We can practice together. We can do the same types of mindful movement, but we may all be choosing slightly different variations because they're just the better fit for where we are generally or where we are today. All right, sitting back up tall, bring the legs in together. This is a great one to either hold on to the sides of the chair with your hands or engage those arms and bring them anywhere out to the side or overhead. So the higher you raise those arms, the more challenge on your core and of course on your shoulders. So you choose what makes sense. Hold on, get more stability and help. Take the arms any amount further out for a little more challenge. All right. And then we're just loosening up those legs. Take one foot and start to kick and bend. Kicking that foot out in front and then bending it back underneath you. Now, if you are happen to be sitting for this one, you're stretching that leg out on the floor in front of you and just kind of sliding it in and out is a good way to do this in a seated on the floor position if you happen to be there. Switch sides. Bend and straighten that other knee. Good. Let's go back to that first leg. Take it out in front. And here's our circles for the ankle. Again, maybe there's some pops and creaks there. It's good to get those joints mobilized. Go the other way. Now, if you happen to have taken your arms out or up and they're starting to get tired, it's okay to bring them back down and take a rest. Let's switch to the other ankle. Circle. And then the other way. And then take it down. All right, we're ready to transition and start our sun salutations. We're going to do one more piece of warm up so that we get the spine and the hips just a little more loose. And so that one is going to be done either in hands and knees on the floor, or if you're not getting down on the floor today, hands in the seat of your chair. This gives us essentially a similar tabletop position for our spine, where our spine is roughly parallel to the ground. All right. So if you're using the chair, you're standing on your feet, your hands are in the seat, and you can start to round the back, tucking the tail, dropping the head, and then reversing that curve. And it's helpful to bend your knees to do this part. Lift the tail up, bring the chest forward, going back and forth. And just start to get a rhythm going here. Exhale as you round. Inhale as you flatten or come to the arch. Now, here's what it looks like if you're down on hands and knees. Pretty similar. Rounding. The difference is, of course, your knees are just staying more stationary because they're on the floor. So I'll go back and forth. I'll show things in the chair and then I'll show them on the floor so you kind of can see what they both look like and make your choices about which one it makes sense for you to do today. All right, now the next one is hip circling. Same position, but we're going to start to shift those hips to the side and all the way around. So essentially drawing a big circle with the pelvis around the feet. Now, of course, if you're down on the floor, you're in hands and knees, and it's the same thing, just shifting those hips around, making a circle. Okay, let's switch direction and circle those hips the other way around. Good. All right. Now let's go ahead and just stand up tall. Everybody's going to stand up, even if you were down on the floor. We're going to prepare for our sun salutation. So whether you're using the chair or going to the floor, there's going to be still some other ways to vary the practice depending on what works for you. Things such as picking your arms up or leaving them down, doing a back bend versus not doing a back bend. So keep your ears open for those choices and feel free to choose what makes the most sense for you. All right, we're going to stand tall. I'm going to show the first one to the chair, and then I'll show the second one to the floor. Okay, so stand tall right in front of your chair with a little bit of space between you and the front of the seat. And then we'll inhale and reach up any amount. And then soften the knees, fold forward, put the hands down in the seat of the chair. Even if you're using the chair, you might perhaps be okay just dropping your hands to the floor for this part if you wanted to. All right, and then flat back is a lift back up into that sort of flat back, chest up, sitting bones up. And then we fold it back in again. Left foot towards the chair, right foot steps back. Now, this is one of the places where you get to decide how far back do you go. All right, it could be a short step or a long step or somewhere in between, of course. Bend that front knee. Now get your legs nice and steady, strong. We're going to push into both feet. Here's an option for all of us. Maybe come up on the fingertips, but keep touching the chair. Maybe bring the hands up to the heart. Challenge your balance. Maybe bring the arms all the way overhead for a little bigger reach on the spine, a little bit more of a back bend as well. Take one more breath. Good, and then we're coming back to hands on the chair if they're not still there, and we're stepping back into a plank position. So this looks like a straight line from heels up to head, a nice strong push with the hands into the chair. Good. Now here's where the back bend comes. It's optional. Some people may not want to do it in the chair. It can be a lot on the wrists, in addition to what it is on the back. But here's what it looks like. I just let my hips slowly come forward any amount. I can stop anywhere along the way. I keep my arms strong and push. And just try to take that chest up any amount. And then we'll push it back, hips back towards the feet or the wall behind you, arms extend. So remember, you could skip that back bend altogether. Maybe it doesn't feel safe or you're not sure you're doing it right. You can hold the plank in that case or go to downward dog early. Now we'll step the right foot forward. Again, you got a choice here. Do you want to stay with your hands on the chair or do you want to come up at all? Maybe arms overhead. I'm going to keep them at the heart this go round. Firm up that back leg. I especially want your glute, your buttock to be active on that back leg, the one that's behind you. That gives you more stability and it's helpful for your lower back. All right, now we transition back to our start position. So step forward. All right, come back to that flat back. Lift up and then fold in. And then shift that weight back into the heels. Slowly come up, get your balance. Bring the hands away and rise up tall with that reach for the ceiling. And then hands back to the heart. All right, take a breath here. All right, so that was sun salutation with the chair. The chair is where you want to be. You do the same thing again. And it'll make sense. I'm pretty sure for the most part, I'll be just showing it to the floor, but I'll remind you chair folks what to do as well. All right, inhale and reach up. Soften those knees, everybody. Fold forward. Take your hands to the chair or let them drop towards the floor. And then flat back, hands in the chair or hands on your shins or your knees or your thighs. And then fold it back in. If you're using the floor, your fingertips come all the way down to the ground and you step that left foot. Everyone steps the left foot forward and the right leg back. Now, one option you have if you're on the floor that you didn't have in the chair is you could put your back knee down. Okay? So if you're in the chair, keep your knee up. And then everybody gets to decide, do they want to bring the hands away from the chair or the floor? And where do they want to take them? Remember, this one on the floor version could be a knee down position. One more breath here. All right, and then hands come back down in front. They're back on the chair or they're back on the floor. And then we're stepping back into our plank position. This is our straight line, like the top of a push-up. On the floor, folks can put knees down on the ground if they want to. All right, and then here comes that option for the back bend. All right, hold the plank steady if you want, or drop the hips a little bit, curl the chest up. Keep the arms strong so we don't get loose or floppy in the arms. So keep pushing. And then shift it back. Let's go to downward facing dog. Push the hips back. Extend out the arms. Knees could remain bent for both versions of this. All right, now we step the right foot forward. This can be a challenge if you're down on the floor. So maybe you put your left knee down first if you need to. All right, it helps you get there. All right, and then everyone's deciding, do they want to come up with those hands, bring them to the heart, or bring them overhead? One more breath here. And then we transition. The hands come down. They come to the chair or the floor. Step the back leg in. You might have to bring the front leg back a little bit if you're at the chair. And then flat back. Hands in the chair or hands on the shins, knees. Lift up. Fold back down. Sit back into your heels. Back into your hips. Our chair pose. Slowly bring the arms up. The gaze up. And then rise all the way up tall. Exhale, hands to the heart. Great. I think we've got time to do it 2 more rounds. All right. I'm going to bring the chair back into play for my next 2. And you could choose either of the other variations that, or either of the variations that we've worked with. All right. So let's see if we can get another 2 rounds in here. Inhale and reach up. Exhale and fold it down. And then lift back up. Exhale and fold. Let's bring the right foot forward this time, left foot back. So remember, your fingertips are either on the floor or their hands are on the chair. And you've got that option to come to a more upright lunge or to keep your hands down. One more breath. And then we bring it back down, hands down to the floor or the chair. Step back with both legs. Find your plank position, your straight line, your strong arms, your belly in. Remember, if you're closer to the floor, you could put your knees down. Doesn't work if you're on the chair, however. Optional back bend. Pull the hips slowly down and forward. Curl the chest up. Keep the arms strong. And then push it back, downward facing dog. Now, downward dog's always a great place to wiggle. Either version of this, you might bend and straighten your knees or let your heels come up and down. Shift the hips side to side. And now we'll bring the left foot forward. Remember, if you're on the ground, it might help to put your right knee down first. Okay, find that lunge position with your legs nice and steady. Don't forget your squeeze and your glute. Maybe come up. If you're feeling a little fatigued, keep your hands down. Give yourself more support. And then bring it back, hands down in front. Step the feet back together. Lift and lengthen that flat back. And then fold it down. Shift the weight back. This is chair pose. So it looks like you're sitting in an imaginary chair, like a squat. And then rise all the way up tall. Exhale, hands to the heart. One more round of these sun salutations, right? Inhale, reach up. And exhale, fold. Inhale, back up. And exhale, fold. This is a nice sequence to sort of learn and begin doing on your own if you like it. Right foot forward, left foot back. We just try to change up which leg we start with from time to time. And of course, there's lots of other variations that you could be doing with the lunge. Maybe some of you know them from practicing with me here or from other yoga that you might have taken. So it's always good to incorporate different things into your sequencing, your practice if you want. All right, here comes the plank. So our hands find the floor or the chair. Step the right foot back beside the left. Push nice and firm with those arms. Draw that belly in and up towards your chest. Optional to shift this into that back bend. This is really sort of an upward facing dog if you're keeping track of the yoga poses. And then downward facing dog, reversing that curve of the spine, pressing the hips back. Good, one more breath here. Left foot's going to step forward to finish us out, finding your lunge on the other side, firm legs. Choose that arm position you want on this side. And then release it. Hands come back down and the feet step back together. Inhale, flat back, lift up. Exhale, fold, drop it down. Shift the weight back into your heels. Get your chest and head to start to come up, maybe the arms. And then inhale, rise all the way up tall. And maybe there's a little back bend even at the top of that. And then hands to the heart. All right, let's just stand here for a moment. You can let the arms drop to your sides. Maybe you close the eyes. Maybe you're ready to sit down. You could go ahead and sit if you need to. But just pause here, take a few breaths. Notice what the effect of all those sun salutations is on your body temperature, on your muscles, your joints, on your heart rate. Now, we're going to finish up with just a few stretches and a little relaxation. You could lie down on the floor if you wanted to. You could just lie right down with your knees bent all the way on the ground. Or you can stay upright and sit in your chair. All right, so you got two choices there. All right, everyone's going to just gently turn their head side to side, lying down or sitting up. It's the same. And then we're going to take one arm and gently pull it across the chest, lying down or sitting up. It's pretty much the same. And then take that other arm across the chest. Watch my microphone here. And then release it. And then a stretch for the hip. So everyone will try and cross their ankle to the knee. That's actually a little bit easier to do if you're lying down on the floor. So if you're in the chair and this feels hard to cross your ankle up to your knee, then you might need to cross it below the knee. Extend that leg that's giving you support out a little bit and cross somewhere on the shin. All right. If you're seated, you sit tall and you maybe lean into it. If you're lying down, you have your legs crossed, you maybe pick up that other leg and bring it in all towards you, just holding behind the thigh there for a good stretch in the glutes and the outer hip there. Take 2 or 3 more breaths with this stretch on this side. Good, and then release it, uncross, take it the other way. So ankle cross to knee. If you're seated, maybe ankle cross below the knee. Sit tall, lean forward if you're in the chair. Of course, some people may not have much room to lean. That's okay. Sitting tall is enough. You stay there. Lying down, maybe crossing the legs like so in a lying down position is enough to give you a stretch for your hip. Stay there. Or if you need a little bit more, pick up that other leg and hold behind the thigh to bring it in. All right, release, uncross. All right, and then we'll just close it up with the same breathing awareness. So feel free to take the hands back onto the belly and the chest if you want. Just slow down that breathing. Encourage your belly again to be relaxed so it can move with the breath. Two more deep breaths. All right, then open your eyes if they were closed. If you're lying down, feel free to stay there and rest a little bit longer, or you can roll it over and sit up. Take a moment to bring the hands together at the heart and just to bow the head in a symbol of gratitude for your body and all it does for you. And of course, I always like to thank AARP of Alabama for bringing us these mindful movement sessions. Thanks for joining us, and I hope to see you on another Tuesday soon.
Thank you, Becca, for that terrific session today. Thank you so very much. And thanks to everyone for watching us today. And if you have any questions or concerns you'd like to ask Becca about, please feel free to put them in the chat. And also, we look forward to you again on next Tuesday, any Tuesday with Mindful Movement at 10 o'clock a.m. Thank you so very much and have a good week. Thanks, Becca.
Bye, Margie.